What is up, YouTube? This is T-One coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about The Straight Story. December is going to be a pretty busy month for me in terms of videos. There's a couple big movies coming out, like Rogue One, Assassin's Creed. A couple TV shows are ending this month, and of course, Smallville Season 5 is on the agenda as well. I wanted to do a couple Christmas movies too, so, many of you might be thinking, why would you make a video about this movie? Which is one that clearly no one gives a shit about. It flopped at the box office. I think barely anybody watches it anymore. I didn't see it until recently, but it's one of those films where I scoffed at the beginning, but I was so profoundly moved by the film as a whole that I almost felt ashamed for being so dismissive. That really hadn't happened to me before, and I'm sure it hadn't happened to many of you either, but The Straight Story did that to me because here we have a film that is almost impossible to compare. There are so many elements that would have sank any other movie, but something about the final product just works so well. And it's kind of hard to pin down why. The closest I can think of is the main character, Alvin Straight. This performance by Richard Farnsworth is one of the best performances that hasn't won an Academy Award. He was nominated, but he didn't win, and I think that's bullshit. The character of Alvin Straight is such a benign, pleasant person, and it's hard not to love this guy. And of course, Richard Farnsworth just nails it. This is one of the best marriages between actor and character I've ever seen. I also love that even though this is one of those based on a true story movies, it's not a huge sweeping story of heroism like most of those kinds of films. It's about as straightforward as you could get. Now, the film's plot revolves around, as I said, Alvin Straight, whose brother Lyle has had a stroke. These two have not spoken in over a decade due to a falling out they had, but after Lyle has the stroke, Alvin decides he has to travel to his brother's home and make amends. But Lyle lives 240 miles away, and since Alvin is no longer able to drive a car and is too independent to take rides, he decides to drive his lawnmower with a top speed of 5 miles per hour. Yeah, 5 miles per hour, which is also the speed of this fucking movie. This pacing, again, would have killed any other movie. It is so slow. There are parts where it is almost painful to watch. But because of Farnsworth's performance anchoring this film, the movie stays afloat. And because of David Lynch's really great understated direction. There are also a lot of colorful people he meets along the way, but they feel real, like you've met these people, and all the actors do a fantastic job. And this movie is actually pretty emotional the whole way through. Again, this character is just so hard not to get behind. He's just such a great guy. And then that ending. I can count the number of movie endings that have made me cry on one hand, and probably still have fingers left over. But I really had to fight to keep the tears from coming because my God. And again, it's not a huge emotional moment. It's such a quiet little scene, and it hits so hard. So, all in all, The Straight Story is a wonderful film, and I'd encourage anybody to check it out, even though it is not for everybody. The pacing will turn most people away from this film, but I gotta say, it just worked so well for me. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Steakwood 1, signing out.